Hey, welcome back to Ski Talk. It's November 17th. Do you know where your skis are? You got to find them, dust them off, and get on that fitness program you've been thinking about because snow guns are blasting all around. And yeah, the winter's Thanksgiving's next week. It's time to rumble. Get your skis to the shop, tune them up. I dropped my skis with the famed Jerry Murphy the other day at Swix to get the ultimate tune up. Not something I do very often. So be interesting to have a sharp pair of skis waxed with some structure. And I'm fired up. You know, Killington got the thumbs up for the race here. So we're all system go for the World Cup right after Thanksgiving. Methinks Michaela Schifrin is ready to go. And there's been some rumors about a back problem. But let's see. She loves this race. And what's not to love about the race at Killington with over 2 days, 30,000 people packed at the base. And out of all the World Cup races and Olympics I've been to, you look up there at Superstar and you can see a lot of that hill. It's fantastic. And the second run of that GS just will blow your mind. The girls will light it up for sure. I'm going to start skiing a week from today. And I can't wait. I'm going to get out there and rip it up with my good friend Dave Manning from Black Dog Ski and Sports over there at Killington. We're going to rip around, check out the scene. And I got to tell you right now, all bets are off once I start skiing. I'm not that I normally return phone calls or emails, but you might as well just check in with me in May because, forget about it. Once I start gliding around and skiing, I'm trying to keep up with all that other stuff, but basically my main goal is to waste perfectly productive days skiing. Yeah, that's right. And I hope that's your goal too. I mean, why not? Hey, we're super excited. There's so much to cover here at Ski Talk this week. So much stuff to get through. I don't even know if we can get through it all. But as always, we're joined by the founder of Ski Talk, Phil Puglisi. Phil, what is happening with you today?
I mean, we're out here in Tahoe, beautiful sunny day. I was down in Mammoth last week, and Mammoth is skiing the top of the mountains in midwinter conditions. I mean, Mammoth is just known for that wind buff they get up top there. It was beautiful. The bumps are nice, big, and chalky. Good coverage up there. You can see where the rocks were. Even at the bottom, there were some chocolate chips, but it was easy to work around them. It was really fun to get out sliding on the snow.
I love it. Right into the bumps, Phil. Can't keep back, can't hold back, man. Get in there and start ripping them up. You Johnny Mosley, you, huh? Just letting them fly? Huh? I love it. You know, Phil, I was checking out the site as I always do, and my eye went right to that classic and iconic ski photos that Dave posted. And that's fun, man. I love that sort of stuff.
Again, we've got such a fantastic heritage section that Dave has done a tremendous job curating. We've got some members on our site like Bill Talbot, who just have incredible collections. Bill's actually based in Connecticut. He's got about 150, 180 pair of traditional straight skis. Every single one is tuned, mounted, and ready for snow. I mean, the stuff that we have the access to is just incredible. And if you look behind me here, we've got definitely some homage that we're going to bring our first guest in to talk about, and that's the Lange Heritage program. But again, it goes back to what we've been working with a lot of manufacturers, specifically the Lange and the Rossignol group. We're very integral in them bringing back the Pivot 15 with those Forza color waves on them. And then a couple of years ago, they brought back that Pink Panther over there, which is such an iconic boot. I remember seeing your brother out on the hill with them a couple of years ago. What a conversation starter in a lift line. And again, our heritage selection that Dave Peterson has just been curating is, I think, second to none in the industry.
The pink boots definitely were the talk of the town. Nothing like the pink onesie, though. I mean, it's just the beginning
Any
of
onesie.
Pinks coming back, you know, and I love that. So much
and
fun.
It never went away. It never went away.
It never went away. The king of Dayglow right here, my friend. King of Dayglow. Okay, let's bring him in. Thor Verdonk from the Alpine Technical Product Director at Lange Boots. Thor, how you doing?
Good, guys. Glad to be with you guys.
Well, we let you in the show because you got the Boston Bruins banner in the background, so I figured it couldn't be all bad, my friend.
Well, I'm an East Coaster, so I grew up over at Smuggler's Notch, not far away from where you spent a lot of your time, just, a couple valleys over.
That's great. That's great. Ready to rumble, of course, up there. And there's so much. He's talking about bumps. I mean, Smug's got some great bump lines.
Oh, absolutely. Madonna lift line.
Love it.
Next to Sugar Bush, where you guys skied a lot, where, probably the most extreme you get in Vermont.
That's right. No doubt about it. So much fun. And I hear you're just off the plane from Europe.
I am. I actually just landed a couple hours ago from Montebluna. I was down at the factory. We were working on some test stuff for a couple of years out.
Oh, that's great. And so nothing like a little jet lag to join us here at SkiTalk.
Exactly. Keeping me awake.
Get all jacked up on coffee and join SkiTalk. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Hey, and our featured guest tonight is not only a really good friend of mine, but someone who mentored me early in my career. And he's really a legend, a famous skier, cameraman, incredible athlete. And he's starring countless Warren Miller films. And he did the stunts for the famed Hollywood movie Hot Dog and so much more. It's Robbie Huntoon right here on SkiTalk. Robbie, what's happening?
Hi, Dan. Good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend. So good. Some of my favorite memories, Rob, is when you were the cameraman, would be out on a film shoot, would be thinking twice about jumping off the cliff, and Robbie would yell up, "Hey, give me your jacket. I'll do it."
Dan, I remember that exact cliff. It was on KT-22 and had a view of the valley, and I had this shot that needed the valley in the background, and the cliff had a flat landing, and you and John were kind of hesitating.
That was the line that got us over the edge right there,
I remember it well.
If you're not gonna use those coats, leave them up the top. I'll hike up and do it myself.
That's right.
So it's so good, and it's so many memories, Rob, about Warren Miller and Warren Miller films. What was the first movie you skied in?
I don't remember the title of it, but it was shot at Squaw Valley, and I was working at Squaw Valley coaching, and Gary Nate was the cameraman, and he came into Squaw Valley to shoot a segment there. And back in those days, they did things a little bit differently. They didn't really have prearranged skiers. So Gary came into Squaw, and he kind of asked around who the good skiers were, and my name came up, and we went out skiing one day, and he said, "Okay, tomorrow we'll start filming." So that was we were off and running from that point on.
Pretty fun. And do you remember the first time you actually met Warren?
Yes, I was really nervous to meet him, and I believe it was Scott Schmidt and I were heading off to New Zealand, and we met Warren before our trip down in LA at the studio in LA, and I was so nervous to meet him. Fun though.
Really fun. His studio was right off close to Hermosa Beach there. And the beautiful thing about that office was the theater, all the seats had the names of his movies on it. And that was really cool.
Yeah. It was a great place to sit and watch the movie with a little private screening.
Absolutely. So Thor, Lange, of course, has a long heritage of so much stuff, and it's such an amazing brand. And you're working, how many years out do you guys actually work on your product on a trip like you just did?
Oh, well, we always have a 5-year plan in mind, but really product-wise, you're working, 2 to 3 years out. I get lost on what year I'm working on constantly, because in the same trip, you'll work on 1 year out, 2 years out, and 3 years out. So, but, typically a boot project is 2 years kind of from start to finish once we write the brief and whatnot.
And what do you think the evolution is coming our way in boots? What should we expect as so much of skiing has evolved with equipment? What's going to happen now with boots?
Well, I think moving forward, obviously, we'll see some some movement in plastic, like what we've done with dual core. I'm quite a traditionalist when it comes to boots. I believe in progressive flex. So I don't think we're going to see a ton change there. Fits, have improved and improved. I think we'll continue to see that, some more customizable technology, a little closer to the foot. I think we'll start to see in the market. Things like that are really, I think, what we'll see. Really, if you look at the history of boots, we're 4-buckle overlap boots, right? A lot of things have been tried over the years, but everybody seems to come back to 4-buckle overlap, right?
I tend to agree with that. And, Robbie, you've seen a lot of different boots and skied in a lot of different boots. What's your take on boots, and what are you skiing on now?
Well, I agree. I go to the 4-buckle overlap. I've tried everything from the rear entries to the couple buckles, lightweight Scott boots over the years. And in 45 years or more than that, it always goes back to I ski a race boot. I ski a 4-buckle overlap, very stiff race boot.
Yeah, it's every time I think I'm not going to do it, I end up doing it. We skied for a lot of those years in the Solomon rear entry boots, and you just never really had the same connection as the overlap boot. Yeah, it was.
You got the comfort, but you don't have the performance.
Yeah.
And I think now you have the performance, the performance and the comfort. I think that's what we've seen, so much technology in liners, and the internal lasts from what they were years ago, straight, narrow, to now being much more anatomical and conformed is really what we've seen in the market. And skiing doesn't need to hurt and have performance.
It's true. But the thing is that cross section between, the kids, there's so many different needs for boots now, right? It's not just so, from what we were doing back in the 80s and the 90s to what the kids are doing now. And the whole idea of going backwards, it's changing a lot of the product that is being offered, and also the forward lean, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In all reality, we're seeing more upright, flatter stances than we did in the past. I always relate this to boots somehow didn't keep up with the modern technology. We arrived with shape skis, twin tips, rocker. We ski skis more center to center now than we ever have. So in the past, with the long straight skis, you had a lot of forward lean and a lot of ramp, and that's really changed now into a more efficient stance, a little taller, a little more upright.
Yeah, you'd agree with all that, right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing this evolution in the boots, and we've coined a phrase on our site is that you date your skis and you marry your boots. The boot is the most important piece of equipment, and it's the energy you put to the ski goes to the boot. You could have $20,000 pair of skis, but if you're in a boot that doesn't fit, doesn't matter. So you need to have a boot that fits your foot. And like Thor was saying, is we're actually getting boots that are shaped like feet now, where in the past the boots were very generic as far as the inside of the boot, and we had to cobble them to get it to fit a foot. But we have so much more anatomic designs now, and different widths and different shapes inside the boot to accommodate different types of feet. If you look at a boot wall, they all look pretty much the same, but the fit difference is incredible. And again, sticking within that Lange line, an LX is going to fit different than an RX. That's going to fit different than one of their race boots, one of the Z boots. So it's a matter of matching the boot to the foot. You don't match the foot to the boot, and just picking something off the wall that you're going to get 90% now out of the box, where we never had that luxury in the past. We're really living in the best of time with boots and with options before we even get into the types of boots, whether it be backcountry, side country, whatever, and the different applications of boot. But the fits now are just incredible.
That's good, because I win the Ugly Feet Award every year at the beach between all the soccer cleats and jamming my feet into ski boots all those years. And of course, it's fall, and the official start of winter every year, of course, is the Warren Miller ski movie, and it's touring right now. And I don't think a lot of people realize all that goes into the Warren Miller tour, and how popular the Warren Miller tour is. Every year, it's the #1 touring film of all genres, really, out there. And there's a couple of different types of shows. There's the corporate shows, and there's independent promoters that like Robbie Huntoon and Rob. And where do you do your shows these days?
I've had a show for 39 years in North Lake Tahoe and in South Lake Tahoe. I got one coming up in just a couple of days at Harrah's in South Lake Tahoe.
I love it. And what, you still get excited to show the movie, watch the movie, and watch the crowd come in?
I do. What I really get excited about is watching the crowd react to the movie. I spend most of my time watching the crowd, not the movie. I've typically seen the movie before I show it, so I don't need to watch the movie. And I watch the crowd. And it's amazing the reactions you get from the crowd, and the smiles and the ooh-ahs and the yee-haws and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting that we're back in the theaters, back with the film. And you're doing a show, you're supporting a show in Reno. Is that right, Phil?
Yeah, we're working with High Fives. Roy Tuscany and his crew, they're doing a show in Reno this Friday. Robbie's going to be up and doing his show on Saturday. So we're giving, in the Tahoe region, people multiple avenues so that they can see their shows. But again, working with Roy and his crew, and again, Robbie and what he does is fantastic too. And I think Warren does a very good job of making this show accessible for a lot of people. And like Robbie says, it's as much fun people watching at these shows as it is watching the movies, and seeing that families come in and they're in their ski t-shirts. They want to be part of the experience, and it really is an enjoyment of it. And it just makes the whole family experience is great with Warren Miller.
No doubt. I'll be over in Portsmouth, New Hampshire tomorrow night, and Marcus Caston's going to be there. Jimmy Ryan's going to be there. So it's going to be fun. And then my show is Friday night, a week from Friday night, right after Thanksgiving, the Flying Monkey in beautiful Plymouth, New Hampshire. So check it out. And right now we're going to watch the teaser tape for Winter Starts Now, Warren Miller's annual film this year.
Thought you might want to take a hit on this thing.
Not really. I wasn't really thinking about it.
Come on, if you don't do it today, you'll be 1 year older when you do.
You know, I've heard that before somewhere.
Do it this year. You'll only be 1 year older when you do.
Everyone should have those times to get out and to recharge.
As a skier, it's where you can really test your limits. It's as steep, as big, as scary as you want. Sorry, I almost threw up.
To show up at the mountain and just let it guide you wherever, that's nirvana as a skier.
My buddy was like, dude, that looked just like a Warren Miller movie. Ever since then.
I love my racing background. I love that fire and aggressiveness in turns.
It's skiing to the bone. It's total sensory overload.
Your brain is turning and burning in all of the good ways.
I think it brings me a lot of clarity and also sanity.
If you're not carving, you're starving.
It'll all go down just as it always has.
Winter starts now.
Definitely go to warrenmiller.com, check out a show near you. It is the official start of winter. Winter starts now, the new Warren Miller movie. Every year they name the films, and when I first hear the name, I'm like, what? And it just always sort of works, and it's the best brand in skiing. End of story. I mean, it's the brand that ignites so much. And Tor, what I was wondering, from your product side, how important is it for the brands to be involved with the brand of Warren Miller?
Oh, well, I mean, I think back in the day we were super involved, and it gets a little tougher as the years have gone on. But I mean, having athletes in there, and I mean, it's such a kickoff to the season, the energy level. I remember as a child watching you and your brother in these movies at the Flynn Theater. And I mean, that's where winter starts. You start thinking about equipment. So having brands involved is, and being part of that and being showcased there is a huge deal.
It's, Rob, so much has changed from film to videos, the evolution of how we make the ski movie. And, you've been on both sides of the camera and you've shot a lot of 35 over the years too, right?
Right. I've shot video, I've shot 35 millimeter, I've shot IMAX, commercials, Hollywood films, Warren Miller films, product films, you name it, done on both sides. And the video aspect has been really interesting because years ago when we shot film with Warren Miller, 16 millimeter film, the shooting ratio was high for the time, probably in the neighborhood of 20-1, which means you shoot 20 minutes of film and you use one. Nowadays with video, because video's less expensive to shoot, the shooting ratios are up around 100-1. So there's so much more content coming into the studios at Warren Miller that they have to edit. It's very interesting what comes out of it.
Yeah, that is it. That is funny, right? You would think it wouldn't have gone that direction, but it surely did. They don't turn those cameras off anymore. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And what I was so excited when Phil told me you were going to join us here on the show because for me, the opening of Hot Dog, that ski sequence, I think it's one of the best shot ski sequences ever. One, your skiing is phenomenal. There's a rawness to it, and the shooting, the angles, and everything is outrageous. What do you remember about making that sequence and shooting that?
That was one of the most fun I ever had making a film. I was young, probably 25 or so. One of my first Hollywood film. The only thing I'd done before that was the Warren Miller films. And Hollywood's a slow moving process. They've got on the crew, there's, 20 or 30 guys moving around with a camera. Warren Miller film set, there's probably 2 or 3. And so Warren Miller crews move much faster around the hill. The Hollywood guys move pretty slow. I remember one time on that opening scene, we were shooting a powder sequence on KT-22. And it was going really slow, and they'd have me ride the lift and stop at the top and get ready for the shot. And I'd be hanging out for 20 minutes before they were ready with the cameras. And then they'd say, okay, action. I'd ski down. They'd go, great, let's do another one. And so I caught on to that pretty quick. And I said, well, look, instead of me going up there and waiting at the top and getting all cold in the snow because it was a snowy day, why don't you give me a radio and just give me a warning and say, hey, we're 10 minutes from needing you at the top of the run. And that worked out perfect because I just did laps on KT-22 while those guys got their cameras ready. And I'd be halfway up the chair and they'd call me on the radio and say, hey, we're going to be ready for you in 10 minutes. I said, perfect. I'm about to get off the top of the lift. I'd ski down, come over to where they need to start. They'd go, we're ready. I go, I'm ready. Go. And we did a shot. And it was just like going out skiing. It's really fun.
Oh, man, it's great. And I still go back and watch this sequence quite often. It's really what a ski sequence should be. Check this out. It's the opening sequence to Hot Dog and featuring Robbie Huntoon.
fast, baby, don't you mind? You don't keep up, you won't catch up. I'm gonna leave you behind. Love starts at the top of the hill, the top of the hill. 'Cause love starts at the top of the hill, the top of the hill. Baby, don't you see? You don't start up, you won't catch up. That's the way it's gonna be. Love starts at the top of the hill, the top of the hill. 'Cause love starts at the top of the hill, the top of the hill.
That is unbelievable. Robbie, every time I see that, and a couple of things, of course, the straight skis, amazing, and the conditions are good. Some of it's wind blown, but that's just, what's that do when you see that? Where do you go when you?
Well, that brought back great memories.
Yeah,
yeah, that was really cool to see that. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so it's fun to see it.
Yeah.
Dan, can I interject here?
You bet.
Okay, I'm going to play Siskel to your Ebert on this one here. That is one of the worst film sequences of skiing ever. Robbie, how many times did you change gear on that sequence? You were on some Rossis, you're on some Dinosaurs, there's different skis in there.
I don't remember changing gear.
Of this, if you go onto an IMDb site, they're going to tear that apart. I mean, it's such a fun sequence. But in today's technology,
I was on a Dino-Star ski.
Yep.
There might have been, it was either Rosignol or Dino-Star, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's some different skis in there. It was a lot of fun. And this is where actually we were at the reunion at Hot Dog the Movie when it was at Squaw Valley a couple of years ago. And the one sequence, unfortunately, that's not in this process is the sequence where you're going through Gold Coast.
Sure.
And which you and I had this debate there when we were at this event, and they had the storyboard at the event.
Yeah. Nice.
Of this.
Yeah, that's great.
Which was a ton of fun. And Robbie and I were bidding back and forth on that storyboard. And Robbie really wanted it. And I was not going to be outbid on to get it. Robbie and I finally made an agreement that he would let me have it, but God forbid something that happens to me, he gets first right of refusal on it.
Am I in your will with that?
Sweet to Robbie, because that is him in the stunt double in that movie.
So, Phil, am I in your will with that storyboard?
Yes.
Cool. Can I see that
Yes.
ready?
I will get you a copy of it.
I might have to take you out this week.
Robbie, I thought the intro was amazing. You were clicking into a look pivot binding, which is still relevant today, as one of the top free ride bindings in the market. So I loved it, and all the Dino-Star stuff in there. I was like, yeah.
Rob, when you did do the stunt up at Gold Coast and went through the windows, tell us about that. How did that all come together?
Well, there's a good story to that. A lot of people don't know the way it was really done. There were multiple cameras. There were probably there you go, Phil, you got it right there. So the shot, the entrance shot there, the middle left shot coming in the door, you can see there's kind of a waitress that jumps out of the way, and then the shot next to that is breaking out through the window. Well, there were about 5 cameras on the shoot, and we shot it in sequences. So you see little bits and there's cuts and things, but really what happened was there were a bunch of extras inside the lodge that were there to look like they're in there dining. And I was up the hill getting ready to ski down, and on the uphill side there was this door that was supposed to open, and I'd ski through the door, and we had snow inside the restaurant, ski through the snow and break out the window on the downhill side. So off I go to do the stunt. I'm skiing down towards Gold Coast, skiing full speed. I mean, I'm going pretty fast. I was tucking to have enough speed to get through the restaurant and out the window, skiing straight out a closed door. And all of a sudden the door opens and I go through the snow and crash through the window on the other side. And I think, wow, that worked out great. Well, what I found out later was that the people inside the restaurant who were supposed to open the door didn't know I was coming. So they were supposed to have a radio when all the production crew was rolling the camera and calling the action to happen, and they had no radio. So there was a person inside the restaurant that actually saw me skiing down the hill and yelled, "He's coming, he's coming." And the girl literally flipped open the door at the last second, and I went through and never knew the difference. Had they not seen me at that last second, I would have been part of the door.
You know, it's I know that Phil's looking at different things than I am when I watch that opening sequence. But one of the things I'm looking at is, you know, they do so much of the framing of the shots with the rocks and the trees and the branches is amazing. And that was all shot on 35, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And how much choreographed did it take to set those up? I mean, that just doesn't happen.
It doesn't just happen, but it actually worked pretty smoothly. The crew, the second unit crew, was pretty savvy for shooting on a ski mountain, and they hired a lot of locals to help them get the gear around. So that made it pretty easy because they had locals that were, you know, really good skiers that could carry heavy equipment, tripods and cameras and batteries and things like that. And they talked to me a little bit and say, "What do you think about skiing a certain line?" And I say, "Yeah, it looks good." And I've never had any problem with anything. And off we went. The only one that was really a catch was, we didn't see it in the opening sequence, but it was a jump off Palisades. And it was about 125-foot vertical drop. And they got the cameras all set up, and I was up top with the radio. And they said, "Okay, we'll get you going and we'll call action." I said, "No, I'm not jumping off 125 foot on your action. I'm going to jump off 125 foot on my action." So I said, "When I'm ready, I'll call you guys on the radio and tell you I'm ready." And I said, "I'll give you 30 seconds. I said, "I'm ready," and I'm going within 30 seconds. And that was kind of different for Hollywood because they're used to saying roll cameras and action. And but it worked. You know, I called them up on the radio and I said, you know, because I had to get my mind set. And I called them up on the radio and I said, "Okay, I'll be going in 30 seconds. So they start rolling the cameras, and then they're ready to see me come off the edge.
And was that Beck's? You jumped off Beck's rock?
That was Beck's rock, yes.
Amazing.
I tried to duplicate Greg Beck's jump.
Okay.
And if you look at the poster of Greg Beck, it's called "Getting Off." It's a really classic poster from Squaw Valley. If you look at that poster and compare it to the movie, it's the exact same takeoff spot.
You nailed it. You landed. Ski away.
Yep,
of course you did.
I went back after the shot to look at the hole where I landed, and it was literally 6 feet deep.
Amazing.
The snow couldn't have been any better.
Yeah.
But I stopped right at the hole and looked down in it, and it was 6 feet deep.
Definitely looked like you had some good snow. Now, there were a lot of locals at Squaw that participated in the film. Name some of the guys and girls that were skiing with you.
Danny Moore was in the film. Let's see, Lynn Weiland was in the film. Bob Lagasa, Dan Herbie. Wow, there must have been 30 or so. The Chinese downhill had every local skier there was in that.
Oh, that's great. Well, we have another sequence from Hot Dog teed up. A lot of locals here ripping it up. Robbie's leading the way. Let's watch it.
Let's hit it. Woo! All right, let's go. Come on.
That is so fun, dude. Snow like that at Squaw Valley? Come on.
Yeah,
Every
that
day,
very
right?
last little piece in that where the guy in the red pants fell.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember his name. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. But I was skiing right beside him, and it was really steep right there. And he got head down the hill, and he was cartwheeling backwards, and he kept tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. And I would look over at him and go, "Wow, he's still falling. He's keeping up with me. He's still falling." And he must have fell 400 vertical feet.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. I mean, I just love the conditions, right? That was a snowy winter, man.
That was the big winter. That was 1982, the really big winter. Yeah.
Tower 16, so filled in.
Yes. Probably hasn't been like that since.
Oh my gosh, making me homesick there. Making me homesick. Phil, I know you always got the sweepstakes happening.
Yep.
Tell us about it this week and who our winners are.
Well, it's great to have Thor here too, actually, because our top prize is the limited edition look Pivot 15 for Henrik Harlot. So, I mean, the winner is going to get that bind there. Something that really cannot get in stores is limited availability out there. I believe they're produced only 200 pair tour. And when I talked to Dennis earlier this week, he says, "Hey, we got to get you out this binding. We're running out of them." But a really cool design. Actually, the color is that red, black, and white, reminiscent of the binding that Robbie was in. This is going back to the RS binding that Robbie was in the movie there, which is really cool. They're part of the collection here. But Nelson to put up the winners for this. So we got Greg Anderson, Motor Greg, on the site that won the top prize of it. Toko Tuning Kit. Again, Toko's been just a fantastic partner with us and sponsor of this program there. Dave DSC 24 Stewart on the site won that. And then the Kolkia Thermal Trekker and Catania combo was won by Doreen Lum. So we're really excited about these contests. I mean, there's not a bad prize in here. It might be first, second, and third, but really, there's no losers here. All of these prizes are fantastic.
Dude, every day is Christmas on SkiTalk. Look at this.
It is. It is
amazing.
Yeah. It's like Christmas in December. And we've got more contests coming. I mean, you guys have been Tor. You guys have been fantastic partners. Raza Group gave away some experiences last week that we had a great winner there. They're excited about that. So we're really, I mean, the partnership with this brand has just been second to none.
What a connection from Robbie's intro to Hot Dog, and the binding is the exact same color. What a connection. I don't think that was even planned, was it?
We're good.
No.
We're good here,
It was
Tor.
amazing
What
how
are
that
you
comes
saying? What are you
together
saying? Did
sometimes.
we plan this?
Amazing.
We're good. We're good. Well, it's every week here on SkiTalk, we kind of open it up for a roundtable discussion. You can ask anybody on the panel any questions you want. And Phil, why don't you kick us off tonight? I know you're always good with some questions.
Tor, the question actually that's come up on the site specifically regarding your XR9 Heritage boot, which goes back to the original XR9. What I'd love actually is if you could give a little bit of backstory on why you chose this specific boot in this process. But the question actually is, what makes this boot a 140? A lot of people say, well, it's similar to the 130 that you have, the RS 130. What makes this one a 140? But again, part B of that is, why did you choose this specific boot for the Heritage this year?
Okay, a lot wrapped up there in one question.
6-part question.
I'll answer the actual question, which was what makes it a 140. The plastic durometer is of course a little slightly stiffer than the 130, but also the liner we put in there. We use the race tongue, which also gives you a little bit more stiffness. So it's a combination of those two things.
Okay.
So that's to answer that direct question. And how did we choose the purple haze? I mean, this has been something that we've worked on with the North American team. We've been asking for, and then when I became the Lange brand manager 3 years ago, I could make it a reality. So we started with the Pink Panther, huge energy. I mean, only a brand like Lange has, the irreverence that, our founder, Bob Lange himself, had, and with the irreverent colors at the time. Pink Panther was obviously the right start. And for me, the Purple Haze connects to a lot of people. The amount of feedback I've gotten about it, like, I had those when I was a kid, and the comeback, and it's just something fun and interesting. We're a serious brand. We build performance product, but we can have some fun, particularly with our heritage.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thor, coming to you, my friend.
What's that?
You want to open up with a question for any of us?
Oh, me? Oh, this is how this works. Well, Dan, I got a question for you, I suppose, because you and your brother and Scott Schmidt were one of my heroes. I tried to mimic all your jumps and the cross and the whole deal back in the day. You still get out and ski with that crew?
Still pretty addicted to skiing, no doubt about it, and never get to ski with my brother John enough. Our schedules have been so brutal over the last bunch of years. But trying to catch up with him, as always, is a blast. And of course, Scotty's up there in Montana with me at Big Sky. He's over at the YC, and we definitely get together from time to time. But schedules are tough, and even with my good friend Rob here on the show tonight, man, it's just been so long since we've actually even got down to sit down to talk to each other. But there's so many memories of skiing, and we were sitting on KT22 when it was a double lift, no safety bar, when you could really have conversations up, and not everybody was hucking off the finger cliffs back in those days. And seeing Hot Dog, just makes me want to go right back to those ski bum days when you could drop into Tower 16. There wouldn't be a big crowd around. And, there's something to it when you see Hot Dog and that footage, that straight skis, there's still powder to be skied. Not everything is skidded and pivoted and just ripped around. I don't know, man. My heart longs for some of that stuff.
I still ski on narrow skis.
Boy, what do you ski on, Robbie?
Well, most days I ski on a 65 wide World Cup slalom ski.
Is that right?
And if there's a little snow and I'm off piste, I probably don't go any wider than about an 87.
Love that. Love that.
Be in the snow, right? That's the way I grew up.
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Yes,
I noticed behind you on your right shoulder, you've got a poster that says Extreme Skiing.
Warren Miller's Extreme.
Well,
yeah, Warren Miller's. What's that? Oh, there it is. Beautiful, man. Love that.
Good poster.
I love that.
Egan Brothers right there.
Right there. Robbie Huntoon. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Over to you, Rob, for any question you want.
Well, questions. What's your favorite moment in a Warren Miller film?
Well, there's, so many moments, hard to really pin them down. But my favorite trip of all time was when John and I went over to Turkey and skied over in Turkey. It was just a really different culture. And to be over there during the first Persian Gulf War was just something I'll never forget. The Turks, they were so nice to us. We had a freak snowstorm in Cappadocia and was able to ski around those big sandstone spires. And it's some of the most iconic footage I've ever been involved with. And, anytime you got to ski for the film, it was awesome. But going to an exotic location, as always stood out. And, that's one of the things I love about seeing some of the old films, because it triggers all those memories. And for sure, Turkey's one of those for me.
Exactly. Now, what about when you guys were skiing down, you and John were skiing down and the block of snow kind of disappeared from underneath you? Was that you or John that kind of experienced that?
Yeah, the Cornice break, you can catch that, of course, on my YouTube channel. Grand Targhee, skiing down Mary's. I was in front. I kicked it. It's a huge piece of snow that lets go over that 500-foot cliff. and John makes the famous hand of God turn. And I love it. If you slow that footage down and pause it, you can see where he snow plows, thinking he might stop, and realizes he would never stop. So he pushed, and that push what saved his life. It gave him enough momentum to turn in midair. And he's such a cat, anyways, always pretty nimble on his feet. And yeah, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
That was a fun shot.
That was, and the most amazing thing as a cameraman, Gary Nate did not flinch. You know how hard that is, Rob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he did not shake the camera.
I had an experience like that with Brian Sisselman on the camera, and it was Scott Schmidt and I skiing in New Zealand, and we were skiing a volcano called Mount Ruapehu. And as typical with Warren Miller films or any ski film, you kind of Rochambeau who's going to go first, because the guy that goes first, he gets easily got the hero shot, right?
Yeah.
So Scott and I were up top, and we Rochambeau, and I got to go first. It was pretty steep. It was a very kind of hourglass type shoot. I started skiing, and probably about the third turn, I sensed a fracture, and I looked to my left, I looked to my right, and I go, uh-oh, slab slide, and I'm on the slab. And the whole thing started moving in within about just a split second. I was down, my skis had fallen off, and I was tumbling in an avalanche and went through this hourglass chute, just in a washing machine of snow, and came out the bottom, and the snow dissipated over the snowpack. And Brian Sisselman shot the whole thing, and he calls over on the radio after it's done. He goes, "How you doing?" It's like nothing ever happened. Well, I just got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah, but he was happy because he knows that that's the shot they're going to use, right?
He got the shot, and it got in the movie.
That's great. Well, it's so fun being together, and I thought we'd close out the show tonight with the segment from Squaw Valley, California, from White Magic, with Rob, myself, Brother John, and Eric Delorier.
When you're chasing white magic in California, always keep a $20 bill with you. It's no problem when you drive on a 4-lane freeway to Squaw Valley, site of the 1960 Winter Olympics, where today's first-time skiers ride free. Guy over here steals skis. This is what skiing's all about. 22 inches of new powder snow. By noon, this guy will be in to buy some goggles. When the Sierra weather clears up, the parking lot fills up in about 15 minutes. But there's no crowd problems at Squaw, because if you have to stand in the lift line more than 10 minutes, you get your money back. Certain restrictions apply. Consult your travel agent for complete details. In 1950, I started producing my first ski film at Squaw Valley on my lunch hours while I taught skiing in my genuine hand-knit sweater with 4 other instructors. And on a good day, we'd all have at least one pupil. By 1953, they built lift number 2. That same year, the first contingency fee attorney showed up. Alex Cushing built Squaw Valley then. He still owns it today. In 1956, Squaw had accommodation for 45 people, 4 chairlifts, and no post office. But they were awarded the 1960 Olympics anyway, so they started practicing for them by hosting the National Downhill that same year. Today, on the 30th anniversary of the Olympics, they have 32 lifts, including a gondola, a cable car, and skiers who still like to climb, because the lifts don't go places that they like to ski. Hot skiers like Robbie Huntoon, the Egan brothers, John and Dan, and Eric Delorier, who all like to ski the Palisades. Before I ski down, I'd like to say hello to my kid sister in Vermont. Hi, sis. okay, but you better check your head, Robbie. Yep, still there. The snow's the same today as it was in 1949. And Squaw's European-like mountains are the same too. But for me, the best part about those old days was that none of us had to do any of this kind of skiing. Let me clarify that. None of us could do any of this kind of skiing.
Oh man, that is so classic, Rob. Huh?
I got a couple of snow checks in there.
Yeah. The bindings worked, right?
Yeah. Man, that just makes you want to go skiing, doesn't it?
Oh man, it fires me up. Fires all you guys up.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's great. You know, every other Wednesday night right here on Ski Talk, you get to waste a perfectly good hour with us. This is your base lodge coming to your living room, and it's so fun. Robbie, it's awesome to see you, my friend.
Nice
Look forward to seeing you at Killington this weekend. Let's make it happen. Tor, thanks for all you do, man. Thanks for all the comfy and the warm boots and the good feet. We love it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
And Phil, as always, my brother.
Let's subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get more subscribers out there so you can get more of this information.
Let's do it. We got a few slots left on my trip over to Switzerland. If anybody's interested, check us out at skiclinics.com. Let's go, Rob, from Killington.
I'm going.
We're heading over, dude. Let's do it.
Yes,
Okay,
people
everybody.
going there, so let's get some more.
Good to see you all. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Tor. Thanks, Robbie.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Sure. Ciao, guys.
Ciao.
Take care.